Alright, hey guys, this is Adrian here with Art of Transness. This is week 6. We're talking about sex and dysphoria, or dysphoria and sex. And I'm kind of gonna just redefine this prompt and basically just talk about dysphoria during sex. Because dysphoria and sex are really big, and I'm not ready to really talk about them as separate things. But took some notes. Zach had a really great video. I suggest you watch it, and he prompted me to maybe map out my thoughts a little bit before I make a video. Yeah, and I just got blood drawn. I have a hysterectomy on Thursday, so that's that. I'm not dying or anything. So I guess to give you a bit of a rundown of my relationship history, I've dated both men and women, but I've only ever slept with women. I don't really need this to remember that. And with the women that I have slept with strictly straight women, and then I have slept with a strict lesbian, and I have also dated women who were straight when I met them, but did not stay that way, obviously. And my dysphoria about my body and how I was performing sexually differed with the differing circumstances with the person that I was with. And so I'll describe the two, stark contrast situations that I found myself in sexually. One being strict straight woman, and the other being a previously strictly homosexual woman, and how, when those happened, what it meant for me, and how I felt about it. So the straight girl, I'll just call her straight girl, when I was having sex with her, I was pre-op and pre-T mostly, and that brought with it a whole bout of issues. While my identity fundamentally was being reaffirmed by me dating a straight woman, I had a whole lot of issues sexually. I was pre-op, and so my anatomy obviously was a huge issue, to the point where we would have fights about it. I had a lot of sexual competition with straight men and men that she had dated previously, and who I would see around, and I always felt an inadequacy based on my physical anatomy and their physical anatomy, and I kind of had this little man syndrome, or I felt like I was having man enough issues with her and my dysphoria, and again I had huge body dysphoria, but not a lot of sexual performance dysphoria, and that's because this person really encouraged me and gave me a lot of positive reinforcement about my sexual behavior, and that really helped me grow into being a sexual person, because I wasn't really all that sexual before I started dating this straight girl, and that was really a good experience for me. But again, I had a huge body dysphoria, but not a lot of sexual dysphoria. But I still felt a lot of sexual competition with straight men. Where am I on this list of people that you slept with, all men? Am I here, top? And that was nice for me. It was kind of obnoxious, but she dealt with that. And so that was kind of my rundown with straight girl, and now on to lesbian girl, which happens to be the same girl that Zach is talking about. Small town. We are very close. So this was interesting. My relationship with this girl, I was post-op, over a year on testosterone, didn't experience much body dysphoria at all. I didn't have hardly any body dysphoria issues with her, and in fact, I feared that I was going to be too masculine for her. Granted, that didn't really change how I was expressing my gender with her, because I wanted to stay true to myself, but it was it was interesting going from not being man enough at all with the straight girl being pre-T and pre-op to being perhaps way too masculine for my lesbian girlfriend. And yeah, it seemed like I went from not really having much like sexual performance anxiety with my straight girlfriend to knowing that I was sizing myself up to lesbian lovers who also did not have a penis, and so I felt like that aspect of my sex life was not really a topic of conversation, which was fine. But now I felt like I was competing with other people, other previous lovers or future lovers who would be just as good, if not better, at what I do, and that was hard. Not hard. It was just something. It was a new dynamic to my sex life that I hadn't really experienced before, because I felt like with my straight girlfriend that I was the best at what I was doing. The only thing that I wasn't good at was penetrative sex, and we didn't have penetrative sex, and I didn't have the anatomy for it, and she didn't want it, and that was fine. And so compared to the other guys that she was with, I was doing top-notch stuff. But when I dated the lesbian, I felt like I was kind of run-of-the-mill, average Joe or Jane, whatever. And I felt a little bit of like sexual performance anxiety dating her, but again, not much body dysphoria, but a lot of sexual competition with women. And that was weird. But one thing that has been interesting for me was the two people that I've slept with the most, neither of them wanted to have penetrative sex. And so I never had to deal with a strap-on, and I never really had to deal with my lower half a lot. And that was good for me and maybe bad for me. I feel like I haven't explored my sexual capacity as much as I could have, just because I've dated people who did not want to have penetrative sex. But I also feel like it built up my confidence, not having those expectations of penetrative sex, and that kind of helped me feel more comfortable in my own skin. But what I did for considerations for other trans men who will be dating, going through similar situations, is I don't have a strong feeling about not dating lesbians. I think that as long as you're pretty clear about what you expect out of your body and what you're going to bring to the table, and you're clear about that, I think that you can do it, and it can be healthy and fine. I also think that dating straight women can be healthy and fine, and I think that probably just dating queer-identified women might be your best bet. You might have the most luck there. And but what I did to help deal with having straight sex and not having, me being male-identified and mostly male-bodied, having sex with women, straight sex is what I'm calling it, is I chose to not use strap-on, mostly out of circumstance, not saying that I wouldn't or that I will not in the future. I chose to embrace my physical anatomy instead, and I've learned ways to make that work for me and to feel comfortable in my own skin. This is not even close to being possible with some guys who just are so dysphoric about their bodies that they can't even grapple with that idea. But it's something to think about. I thought for a while when I was dating straight women that I would never be able to experience pleasure on my lower half, and that turns out to not be the case. But that happened after I started testosterone, so that's something to think about as well. But again, each circumstance is going to be different. Really, your body is your body, and sex is supposed to be pleasurable, so make it pleasurable in whatever way you see fit, honestly. Yeah, I think that's it. So I hope you guys are having a good week, and I will see you next week.